your shortcut to being well informed. Today, we're plunging into, well, truly unique source material, excerpts from a book called The Oily Bible by Ian H. Bates.
Yeah, this really isn't anything you've likely read before. It's described as a continuum, an incomplete work, and it sort of blends scientific insights with, philosophical, astrological, artistic, spiritual, and esoteric concepts.
Quite a mix.
Definitely. So our mission today is really to navigate this fascinating mix, explore how these diverse elements might just reshape your everyday experiences, maybe even challenge some conventional notions of purpose.
And what makes this deep dive, I think, particularly compelling is that it all starts with the author's own incredibly personal journey. So yeah, let's explore how he got to this point. Ian H. Bates really kicks off this unique exploration by sharing his personal battle with bipolar disorder, which is a condition he remarkably transforms into what he actually calls an extraordinary superpower.
Right. His awakening, as he puts it, began quite dramatically. He was in Chamonix, France. And it followed this powerful spiritual encounter in the early hours, after his first time smoking marijuana, actually.
Wow.
This led to what he describes as a voice asking him to stop everything, take ownership of his life and fulfill his true purpose, even if it meant huge sacrifices, like the end of his marriage.
And the story takes another pretty wild turn here. Despite his initial resistance, his bewilderment, this voice identified itself as already the sun god.
Mm-hmm.
Bates describes crying uncontrollably, but not from sadness, apparently, but from this overwhelming, just truly bizarre joy.
Yeah, bizarre is the word. And this highly elevated state, well, naturally, it led to a very public display when he got back to work.
Oh boy.
Which ultimately resulted in a mental health emergency response team being called out. He recounts sitting there on an Egyptian rug, answering what he calls searching questions while in this manic mood. Eventually, he agreed to be checked into St. Andrew's Mental Hospital in Northampton.
Which is, as you said, one of the UK's top psychiatric facilities, right?
Exactly. He spent 3 weeks there treating his bipolar, also known as manic depression, with cognitive behavior therapy, CBT.
Right, the structured approach.
Yeah, challenging negative thoughts alongside meditation, art, even golf and tennis. He even recalls joking with his consultant, Mr. Ian Wood, who playfully called him Picasso because he'd started painting again.
Huh.
He details how medication helped him get back to terra firma, a more grounded state, and apparently one of his acrylic paintings still hangs there.
That's quite something.
But what's truly intriguing here is that the voice and these other communications, they didn't stop.
Oh.
No, instead, they evolved into what he describes as superintelligence operating at speed of light. And Bates connects these experiences directly to science, philosophy, spirituality, describing it all as a fascinating arc, joining light, energy, life-forming processes, and the absorption and transfer of energy from one particle to another in an infinite continuum beyond time and space.
Wow. So he's really integrating it all, and he fully embraces being, quote, officially labeled bonkers.
He does. He says he's actually grateful for it, believes he now has a gig to help others. He genuinely hopes his story will resonate with and, maybe assist people in similar situations.
So he gives us a bit of background too, doesn't
he? Yeah, he offers some insights. Born in Ipswich, England, 1964, majored in chemistry, biology, maths, then moved into marketing.
Okay.
He reflects on his parents. His dad worked in the pharmaceutical and beverage sector, strict, but apparently hilarious. And he talks about a close relationship with his mom, who he says still visits him spiritually.
Interesting.
He also mentions his brother calls him a true entrepreneur, and his older sister, highly intellectual, practices mindfulness, and she even chose the book's positive cover art.
He describes his upbringing as blissful, despite, his dad's occasional fiery temper.
Right.
And he recounts this pivotal moment where he really laid into his father about his parenting style.
And that actually helped their relationship.
Surprisingly, yes. Solidified it, he says. Though he also notes his father had this jealous streak, even over a new company car. He openly calls himself a mummy's boy.
And his passion for sports comes through too. Led to his first asthma attack at 10. It seems to reveal this deep drive, this ambition, maybe sometimes pushing his mental capacity to its limits without enough rest.
But despite the bipolar diagnosis, he absolutely insists it hasn't held him back in his career. Absolutely not, he says.
That's quite a statement.
Yeah, and he backed it up. He openly discussed his condition during an interview for a senior directorship.
And he got the job.
He got the job, proving, in his view anyway, that honesty and openness does pay off. His current boss even read a draft of the Oily Bible before offering him a contract.
That's remarkable. And he emphasizes, he's not alone. Many highly accomplished people, Churchill, Mel Gibson, Mariah Carey, Carrie Fisher, Jimi Hendrix, Hemingway, Spike Milligan, Stephen Fry, diagnosed with bipolar, and it certainly didn't hold them back.
Right.
For Bates, it seems, honesty and integrity trump everything.
Okay, so building on that intensely personal narrative, the Oily Bible, then kind of shifts gears, right? It moves to explore the power of the universe.
Exactly. And he's clear it's not presented as a religious book. It's more a deep dive into communication, the transition of ideas and energy in all forms, and connecting that directly to the natural world.
So, like, what kind of concepts?
Well, things like light refracting through a prism, how sound waves get interpreted by our brains, the absorption and transfer of energy, basically principles rooted in thermodynamics. He really highlights what he sees as the relevance and connectedness of everything, right down from the tiniest quarks to, Higgs bosons.
And what's particularly, thought-provoking here is his idea that time is irrelevant in a quantum universe.
Mm-hmm.
He suggests we might all have this inherent ability to travel through time and space just by recalibrating to the natural rhythm of nature and consciously disconnecting from our often hectic lives.
That's a big idea. And he challenges our usual 5 senses too. Suggests there are more, like his friend who apparently has 7 senses, which combine instinct and emotional intelligence.
7 senses. Okay.
Yeah, and he uses this analogy of dimensions starting from a dot, moving to a line, a plane, then eventually a continuous infinity loop to try and describe how energy can move 360 degrees in all dimensions at any point in time because it is nonlinear.
Right, like it's not stuck on a straight path.
Yeah.
He finds beauty and lessons in nature's designs too, calling them nonlinear and chaotically organic, like a simple flower.
Or those massive underground mycelial networks.
Exactly. Those incredible fungal webs connecting trees, plants, fungi, transferring nutrients, information. It's like a natural internet almost.
It really is. But from there, he gets quite critical of Western society's, what he calls its toxic cocktail, addiction, consumerism, time, money.
He makes a stark point, doesn't he? If everyone lived like an average Westerner, we'd need like 6 planets.
At least 6, yeah. He ties this consumption directly back to the Industrial Revolution and its impact on global warming.
So his advice for us is pretty direct. Stop beat, slow down, observe carefully, be guided by your own wisdom and instinct.
Mm-hmm. He suggests our busy lives just keep us distracted and unconscious.
He even gets quite personal, pondering how he'd spend his final moments if he knew his life was ending soon. Makes you think.
It does. And he connects happiness directly to gratitude and contentment. That, he says, is the secret to a happy and healthy life. For him, learning to be more accepting of others and to go with a natural flow of life was a direct outcome of his bipolar diagnosis.
He shares some pretty intimate details about his manic phases too, lasting 2-3 weeks with interrupted sleep, loads of energy.
Right.
During those times, he actually meditates in the early hours by candlelight to record the voices in his head. He finds walking in the dark helps optimize his other senses, makes him aware of pent-up energy, though he does add a practical warning about candle safety.
Good point. He then touches on the concept of the 6th chakra, or third eye, calling it a gateway to inner consciousness. He even recommends Deepak Chopra for spiritual healing.
Okay.
And he describes the voices he hears as extraordinary and benevolent guidance. But he also cautions there are powerful forces that need respect, recalling a really frightening Ouija board experience he had when he was 15.
Yikes.
Yeah.
So how does he capture these communications? They sound pretty complex.
He says he does it by writing and sketching quickly, sometimes finds the messages very confusing, almost like different languages are being conveyed all at once. And he normalizes talking to himself, finds it quite common, actually.
Which, arguably, a lot of us do.
Absolutely. He believes this whole experience is a form of enlightenment, a sort of healthy growth of consciousness, rediscovering powers we were born with but maybe forgot how to use.
And interestingly, he brings in AI here.
Yeah, he suggests artificial intelligence could actually be a triumph for humankind if it's managed carefully and positively. He cites Mal Goddard's books, Scary Smart, and That Little Voice in Your Head.
He also mentions influences like Rhonda Byrne's The Secret, the Law of Attraction book, which his sister gave him, and Chetan Parkin's Human Design. Seems like he's drawing from a lot of different wells.
Definitely synthesizing. He envisions bringing together the best minds, past and present, from arts, sciences, astrology, spirituality, philosophy, all to distill collective wisdom. He even suggests AI and quantum processing could be potential short circuits for this grand synthesis.
It's a big vision. Ultimately, he sees a planet powered by nature for nature, a perfect symbiotic relationship where energy can flow naturally within the rules and construct of Gaia.
And his core message there seems to be to truly understand the universe, you connect all the dots simultaneously.
Okay, so let's try and connect some more dots ourselves. This deep dive now takes us into quantum dynamics, which is, let's face it, a fascinating and often perplexing area of physics.
Perplexing is a good word. It fundamentally challenges classical physics, where objects behave predictably, like billiard balls.
Right.
Here, tiny particles like electrons, they don't have fixed positions. They exist instead in this sort of cloud of probabilities.
Which is where the famous Schrodinger's cat thought experiment comes in.
Exactly. The cat in the box is considered both alive and dead until someone opens the box and observes it. That illustrates the idea. And it ties directly into the Heisenberg uncertainty principle, basically. You can't precisely know both a particle's position and its momentum at the exact same time. There's an inherent fuzziness.
That inherent uncertainty then leads to quantum superposition, right? Where particles can exist in multiple states simultaneously.
Precisely. Think of it like a spinning coin. It's neither heads nor tails until it lands and you look. A particle can be in all its possible states at once, in a way.
Until observed.
Until observed. And here's where it gets truly, truly mind-bending. Entanglement.
Ah, yes, the spooky stuff.
The spooky stuff. This is where particles become linked, and state of one instantly, and I mean instantly, influences the state of another, no matter how far apart they are.
Across the room or across the universe.
Doesn't matter. This spooky action at a distance, as Einstein famously called it, suggests information might be shared instantaneously across vast distances. It profoundly challenges our basic understanding of space and time.
And our growing grasp of quantum dynamics, even with its weirdness, has genuinely driven a scientific revolution, hasn't it?
Absolutely. It's led to breakthroughs in chemistry, material science, and the very technologies defining our information age: transistors, lasers, modern electronics. They all rely on quantum principles.
Which naturally leads us to the next frontier, quantum computing.
Right. So traditional computers use bits, simple zeros or one-isms. Quantum computers use qubits.
Qubits.
And thanks to superposition, a qubit can be 0, 1, or both at the same time. This dramatically increasing their computational power in ways we're only just starting to really explore.
So imagine solving problems that would take today's supercomputers centuries. Quantum computers could potentially revolutionize fields like cryptography, optimization problems, drug discovery.
Especially drug discovery. Simulating molecular interactions with unprecedented accuracy. That could lead to new medicines developed much, much faster.
But there are huge challenges, right?
Oh, absolutely. Building stable qubits, ones that can hold their delicate quantum states long enough for complex calculations, is an immense engineering hurdle. And yes, there's the big one. The potential for quantum computers to break traditional encryption methods, which poses massive risks to data security as we know it.
So the implications spread out widely, beyond just computing.
For sure. In energy, these principles could lead to, say, more efficient solar cells and batteries. In communications, quantum entanglement could enable ultra-secure communication networks, theoretically unhackable.
If we zoom out to the bigger picture then, quantum dynamics also offers new insights into the fundamental nature of reality itself.
It really does. It pushes the boundaries of science and philosophy with these profound questions. Like, are we just observers in a world governed by probabilities? What does it even mean for free will?
Heavy stuff. But it's not just academic theory. Bates emphasizes it has real-world implications for humanity's future, especially in tackling global challenges.
Like climate change and health crises, yeah. Quantum computing could, for instance, drastically improve agricultural practices or enable the rapid development of vaccines and treatments.
But the risks are equally significant.
Very much so. Misuse could jeopardize sensitive data on a global scale. And unequal access to this incredibly powerful technology, that could seriously exacerbate existing inequalities, maybe even lead to new geopolitical tensions.
So navigating this quantum future, it's going to require a really multifaceted approach.
Essential. It needs collaboration among scientists, policymakers, ethicists, and the public. Education, fostering understanding, promoting interdisciplinary learning, those are absolutely key.
Okay, so moving from that quantum realm, perhaps back towards the spiritual and the power within us, let's explore what the book calls the symphony of resonance.
Right, and this section highlights how ancient civilizations, long before modern physics, recognized the profound effects of sound and vibration, not just scientifically, but as a spiritual and healing principle.
Like in ancient Egypt.
Exactly. Priests there were known to use resonant sounds from instruments like the sistrum in healing rituals and to, invoke divine presence. Later, Pythagoras in ancient Greece explored the mathematical basis of musical harmony, developing that concept of the music of the spheres.
Believing the planets made music.
Essentially, yeah, a cosmic symphony. And in Eastern traditions, sound as a healing force is deeply, deeply embedded.
Like chanting Om.
Precisely. Indian Ayurveda uses chanting mantras like Om to align energies. Tibetan singing bowls are used to induce deep relaxation by resonating with the body's chakras, supposedly helping clear energetic blockages.
Okay, what's this really compelling, if maybe speculative, idea from the source about moving heavy stones?
Yeah, that's fascinating. The notion that ancient Egyptians or maybe other civilizations might have actually used sound to move those massive stones for things like the pyramids.
How would that even work?
Well, the theory is they could create specific resonant frequencies to perhaps reduce friction or even manipulate large blocks with far less physical force than we usually imagine. It's definitely a provocative thought, isn't it?
It really is. And the evolution of sound healing continued, right? Through the Renaissance.
Yeah, with music as medicine gaining some traction.
Yeah.
Then into the 19th century with figures like Dr. Alfred Tomatis and his method for stimulating auditory processing for therapeutic benefit.
And now modern medicine is even using related concepts.
It is. Things like bioresonance, which uses the body's own electromagnetic frequencies for diagnosis and healing, analyzing cellular frequencies, trying to restore balance. And then you have all sorts of other therapeutic practices today. Music therapy for emotional expression, stress reduction.
Sound baths, binaural beats.
Tuning fork therapy, chanting, even the ultrasonic sound waves used in physiotherapy. It's quite widespread now.
And it's not just sound, is it? The source dives into the study of color, too.
Right, revealing its significant impact on our mood, our behavior, influencing emotions, even physiological responses. The source gives a whole guide to chromatics, detailing how different colors hold diverse cultural meanings and potential effects.
Like red for energy and passion, blue for calm.
Yellow for happiness, green for nature, orange enthusiasm, purple spirituality or luxury, pink love, brown stability,
black sophistication or sadness, white purity or emptiness,
gold eternity, silver intuition, turquoise protection, gray neutrality. It's a whole visual language with deep roots.
So this naturally begs the question, if sound and color have such power, what about mind over matter?
Yeah, that's a central concept in many spiritual and self-help traditions. The idea that our mind can directly influence physical reality, impacting our well-being, our performance.
The mind's role in physical health is pretty crucial, isn't it? Positive thoughts linked to better immune function, faster recovery.
Definitely. And athletes use visualization and affirmations extensively for performance enhancement, mentally rehearsing success, building confidence.
If we connect that to the bigger picture, things like emotional regulation through mindfulness or CBT.
Cognitive behavioral therapy, yeah.
And the law of attraction, that idea that thoughts attract corresponding experiences. These are all sort of facets of this mind over matter influence, right?
Very much so. And spiritual teachings across many traditions often emphasize the mind's profound power to shape our reality.
So what's Bates's take on this? Does he say just think yourself well?
No, not exactly. He's careful to remind us that while it's powerful, mind over matter should be seen as a complementary approach. It works with professional medical advice. It doesn't replace it. That's an important distinction.
Right, okay. Which leads us directly to another concept, focus to infinity.
This is the idea that every individual mind is a powerhouse of thoughts, ideas, and solutions. But when multiple minds combine, when they focus on a common goal, their potential, Bates argues, is magnified exponentially.
Creating this sort of infinite reservoir of problem-solving capabilities.
Exactly. He argues this collective effort becomes absolutely necessary for tackling the really complex challenges we face. It fosters unity, interdependence, creates a positive, supportive environment, which fuels creativity, innovation, resilience.
You see it in teamwork everywhere, don't you?
Absolutely. Sports is a great example, but any field, really. Unique skills coming together, coordinated effort, the collective ability to adapt. It's all based on trust, communication, and mutual respect.
Okay, now let's unpack how we actually communicate and, well, live in this interconnected world Bates described, starting with something he calls the listening blind spot.
Yeah, this is interesting. He highlights how most people tend to hear the words someone says, but they don't always truly understand the intent behind them. They miss crucial nonverbal cues, facial expressions, body language, tone of voice.
The stuff that gives communication its real meaning often.
Exactly. So, active listening is presented as the antidote. It means deliberately putting aside our own thoughts, our biases, to truly focus on the speaker.
Which fosters empathy, strengthens relationships.
It enhances learning, problem solving. The benefits are huge.
But cultural and language barriers can really get in the way, can't they?
Oh, significantly. Through simple misinterpretation, nonverbal misunderstandings like a gesture meaning one thing here, something totally different elsewhere.
Stereotyping, too.
Stereotyping, ethnocentrism, just difficulty expressing oneself clearly, lack of trust, even fundamental differences between high context cultures where a lot is implied and low context ones where things are stated very directly.
So overcoming these requires what? Cultural sensitivity.
Sensitivity, definitely. Patience, open-mindedness, being willing to adapt your communication style, and common barriers to active listening itself, even within the same culture, include just basic distractions.
Prejudgments, jumping to conclusions.
Emotional reactions getting in the way, just poor listening habits, information overload, we all suffer from that.
Physical barriers, trying to multitask.
Or simply a lack of genuine interest, unfortunately.
The author gives some practical ways to overcome these, though, right?
Yeah, things like cultivating mindfulness, keeping an open mind, actively managing your emotions, practicing good listening habits like paraphrasing or asking clarifying questions, prioritizing conversations, even using technology wisely, not letting it be a constant distraction.
Okay, so moving towards personal flourishing. The book presents health, wealth, and purpose as three interconnected pillars.
Deeply interconnected, yeah, for overall well-being.
Health, both physical and mental, is obviously the foundation. Maintained through diet, exercise, sleep, mindfulness, positive relationships. The basics we know are important.
Right. And wealth, in Bates's view, extends beyond just money. It includes things like time, knowledge, skills. He emphasizes education and financial literacy as part of wealth.
Interesting perspective. And purpose.
Purpose is the driving force, the why. It provides motivation, resilience, deep satisfaction. You might find it in your career, in service to others, in personal passions, but ideally, it always aligns with your core values.
And balancing these three pillars,
yeah,
it requires self-awareness.
Self-awareness, setting realistic goals, and crucially, establishing clear boundaries so you don't end up sacrificing one pillar, like health, in pursuit of another, like wealth.
Makes sense. And a purpose-driven life, or even a purpose-driven business, Bates argues, brings so many benefits.
Yeah, clear direction, sustained motivation, that sense of fulfillment, improved performance, making a positive impact. He even links it to enhanced health and longevity.
Which brings us finally to paying it forward.
A simple yet powerful concept, as he calls it. Just responding to an act of kindness by being kind to someone else, creating that ripple effect of goodwill.
It's not a new idea, is it?
Not at all. Its roots are ancient. You see echoes in Greek plays, religious texts, even Benjamin Franklin's letters mentioned it. It was really popularized more recently by Robert Heinlein's sci-fi book Between Planets, and maybe even more so by that 2000 film Pay It Forward.
Right, I remember that.
And its importance, Bates argues, is vast. It brightens individual days, obviously, but it also fosters a more caring community, strengthens social ties, boosts psychological well-being for both the giver and the receiver.
You feel good doing it, and the recipient feels good.
Exactly. It enhances corporate social responsibility when businesses adopt it. It can even help address broader social issues like poverty in small ways. Bates highly recommends just trying it out.
The deep dive then wraps up poetically, doesn't it? With nature's gift to humanity.
Yeah, it's a reflection on nature as our ultimate teacher of balance, a nurturer for mind, body, and soul, and a profound reminder of our interconnectedness, our fundamental duty to care for the earth for a sustainable future.
Wow. Okay, what a truly sprawling, insightful journey through E&H Bates' The Oily Bible. We started with his intensely personal awakening, that remarkable reframing of bipolar disorder.
Superpower, yeah.
And from there, we sung through quantum dynamics, their ancient and modern power of resonance and color, that fascinating mind over matter concept.
The importance of collective consciousness, active listening.
Right, all leading to this really holistic approach to health, wealth, purpose, and that incredibly simple but powerful idea of paying it forward.
What's truly striking, I think, is how Bates really does weave it all together. From the profoundly personal, the spiritual awakening, the mental health struggles through the unseen, often baffling forces of the universe in quantum physics and resonance, and ultimately brings it right back down to earth.
Yeah, sure.
To tangible actions we can take to improve our own lives and maybe contribute to the collective well-being of humanity. He really does try to connect those seemingly disparate dots.
So, thinking about this for you, our listener, what does it all mean? Perhaps the most potent takeaway is Bates's core idea that we are all connected, whether we like it or not.
It's unavoidable, he suggests.
Yeah. And that by embracing openness, by actively seeking to understand beyond just the surface words, and by consciously contributing positively to that flow of energy and kindness around us, we might just unlock a more profound sense of purpose and maybe help create a more symbiotic, balanced world.
And this really raises a final, quite profound question that Bates seems to pose throughout the work. If every single one of us truly has the capacity for extraordinary change, both within ourselves and out in the world, what one small act of paying it forward, perhaps, or maybe what one moment of just consciously recalibrating to the natural rhythm of nature could you embrace starting today?